Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've got another animatronic today to set up and show you guys. This one is 10 years old. Can you believe it? I feel so old. That's why I'm sitting in a rocking chair. This one, genuinely, I was very contradicted on actually buying due to the fact of just what he is. This is the Harbinger of Hell. Perhaps one of the most infamously controversial Spirit Halloween animatronics to ever be sold due to the fact of how unsettling he is. It poses an interesting question of where do we draw the line as Halloween enthusiasts. I know some people do not find this a problem at all, but I would have to find myself in a little bit of a gray area. I know that I have animatronics that relate to satanic type beings, like I have Hellspawn, and I just made a video on the fire demon. But those are kind of cartoonish to me personally, and I'm pretty okay with it. This one is very close to the line. I was contemplating even picking it up due to the fact of just how unsettling he is to me. But I look at him at the end of the day as a collector standpoint, I think he's pretty cool. It's one that you don't see that often anymore. And this one had the box and it's in pretty good shape. So looking at it from a collector standpoint, it's really cool to find, but just the idea that what it is symbolizing, it's a little strange to me. But it does pose a great question out there for anyone. If anyone's interested in debating, not debating, but just sharing their ideas in the comments, I would love to hear your thoughts on it, because it's definitely something I have contemplated a bit with several props purchasing from Spirit and just in general. But with that out of the way, let's look at this very hard to find animatronic. This is Harbinger of Hell. So let's just check out the box here first. So this is in the era when Spirit Halloween kind of went through a branding rehaul, especially with the animatronics. They no longer have the slime font. This is 2015. But they have the modern day font with green. And honestly, it's kind of weird to me. I don't really find much enjoyment out of it. I really like that they went with the white one. It's more appealing after this in 2016. But this definitely makes it very easy to pick out this certain year. But here you can see the side of the box. The box is in pretty good shape. And in the back, it just has like a big stock photo of him framed and everything. The staff illuminates and his eyes illuminate and his mouth moves. But he is notorious for having some of the worst mouth synchronization out there. It's kind of comedic, actually. We'll look at that. But there he is. So let's take a look at what's inside the box. So I don't really know exactly how this thing got packed in when it was new, if there was any interior packaging. It's all just kind of thrown in here. So I'm just going to pull it out one by one. Here you have the staff, which is a thin plastic. That's pretty cool. And you got two parts, and they just kind of go together a little bit. I don't even know if that's right. Is that right? No. It's like this. Good thing I didn't just break it right in front of you guys. You have his hands, which are skeletal hands, and they really are cool. I do like the paint job. It really looks like they're almost on fire, flame. They have that yellow highlight, which is really appealing to me. It really makes it pop out, I think, and that's consistent through the whole paint job on the item. But you can see he's got the one that's pointing at you. His pose is very intimidating as well. He's got some poles, arm poles and whatnot. This thing is actually missing all of the foam, which I would like to add back to him by Halloween. I do intend on putting him up somewhere, probably in the swamp, because that's where he was back in 2015. But his poles are also kind of small, and there's only one thing that's wrong with him. He has a broken weld on one of the joints, which I plan on fixing as well before Halloween. Will I get to it? Probably not. But for now, we'll probably just zip tie it, because that's going to work. But he's got a lot of poles, and here's the control box. Nothing too crazy. I will say, though, that his voice box, so that his speaker is actually pretty loud for how small this control box is. I was kind of shocked by that. This odd pole. He's got a little bit of an interesting setup, too. His adapter. No, this is an extension plug for the lights. And then you have his adapter, which for anyone interested is a 6-volt, 1 amp adapter. So a 6-volt, 2 amp should work fine on him if you're missing it. And then here is the man himself. He is a dude, right? I think so. He's basically just a skeletal skull, but he's got the horns on top. He's missing some hot glue, which I'll add. And then you've got his mouth, which is very loud. It's very loud. His main armature for his body frame, I guess. Very interesting how he's built. And then here you have his clothing, which is interesting because this is yard fabric and it deteriorates like latex. Who thought this would be a good idea to put on a prop? I'm actually lucky that this thing is still in good shape, but I want to know how to preserve it to the best I can. One thought is to put it in a bag like this and then not let it get wet, I would assume. But I guess one day it's going to deteriorate, and I don't know what I'm going to do at that point. Try and find another costume, commission someone to stitch a better costume that's actually made out of clothing, not yard fabric. And then we got the base, which is very thin, very wobbly, very questionable. But that's everything in the box, and let's set them up. We're gonna go right into it today. We're not even gonna cut. See, I lied. Already one cut in. Already did that. So the poles are labeled accordingly. So we got two B poles here. So we'll just snap lock these on. Now this odd pole actually goes right here, and this is his. He's kind of like, he has a certain post him. I don't even know what to say, but he's like pointing. So this like comes out to be like his kneecap. So we'll see how that comes to be pretty soon, but it should usually have like a foam piece on it somewhere over there, but mine is missing it. But that's okay. Here you have his next control part. This is the actual control box. And you have a D pole. All the stickers are still on it, which is kind of nice. All right, the next step is our main bracket here. Our main body frame piece. It's very, again, questionable with how this is all set up. Totally of a different era, if I do say so myself. The hip loop goes on a certain way, as well as the brackets are one-sided. I think now would be a fair time to do this next part. So this is where the part that I was talking about is broken, but we just connect these two smaller poles right here. Those get snap locked in, and this would usually go like right here, and then that gets snap locked to that lower pole that is down here that you probably can't see. All right, so now we take his clothing, drape it over. Try not to rip it, because I think this can easily get ripped if you aren't careful with it. Is that even how it goes? I don't even know. Now I think I'm gonna put on his head, plug that in like so. And then there's a Velcro, which is red, which is cool. Never seen red Velcro before. And then we just put this over. And he's missing his Velcro for here, but it's actually still connected. So I'll just kind of leave that like that for now. Fix that at a later date. I just kind of went through and fixed his ropes for us all because it looked kind of dorky. And I've got his sensor kind of lined up where I think it would go. Next, we're just going to put on his arms here. Again, these are missing their foam, which I'd like to add before Halloween. I think he would look a lot better, but for now, it's fine. Now, he's got this staff here, and how this goes on is just a twist lock. So that goes on, twist, and you're good with that. And we're just gonna slot that in like any other animatronic. And this is where that extra long cable plug goes. It goes up his arm sleeve like so, and goes into his control box. And the way this is all set up is just so strange. You got his Velcro. I love the red Velcro. I've never seen red Velcro before. It's like I'm a child. Why isn't this lining up nicely though? And then we've got the pointing arm, which I think is the coolest aspect of him. He's like pointing at you. Just snap lock, or just slide this on place. And then you take his hand. Bada bing, bada boom. Velcro. And he's got, well, he should have. Yeah, there we go. All right, so he's pointing at you, not me. But he's done, I think. And that clothing sucks. I'm going to say it right now. It doesn't form well. He looks stupid right now, the way it's all set up. Like down here is very not defined. And just the clothing just doesn't hold its shape well, really, at all. I keep having to adjust this rope on him just so it could look half decent. I don't know if like something was messed up with like how it was stitched or what. There's not even a like access panel on him so you could get to the control box. But without farther ado, let's plug him in, shall we? You can hear that clank of the jaw, this clanker. And what is that mouth sync? Where else can you be cast into an endless lake of fire and brimstone? The background music is so unsettling too. You can see that glows. The pointing is cool, I'm not gonna lie. So there he is, got a quick demo in for him. He doesn't really do that much, he just has his mouth that moves. He retailed for $200 in 2015. Is that a good price for him? I don't know. You just get one movement and just some lighting. He is a metal frame, but you know, he's got some cool details molding wise, but other than that, I don't know if that's really a fair price for him. I wonder what he would be in today's market. Man, am I sweaty. But for the sake of a nighttime demo, because I really think he would look good in the night, I like the fact that they went with a red cloak instead of like a black cloak or a darker cloak, because now he's going to take light a lot better and really could just pop out in any scene that you make him. Like, if I'm going to put him in my swamp area, all the lights are going to be green. He's going to have a red light on him. He's going to stand out. There's going to be a high contrast, and it's really going to be striking, if I'm being honest with you, especially with the complementary of green and red going against each other. So I'm definitely looking forward to like playing with how the lighting is going to work with him. So I brought out a red fire and ice light. I think they had these around the time when he was released. I think fire and ice lights were a thing at this point. 2015. It's crazy to think about, you know? Means next year I would be going to Spirit willingly for 10 years. Willingly, keyword. All right, so let's plug in this fire and ice light. I'm sure he's going to look really cool with it, if I'm being real. Yeah, that looks pretty freaky. You have darkness in you. Come with me, my child, into the heart of darkness itself. I can smell the death on you. You won't be long now. You could have had heaven, but you chose hell. Naturally. Where else can you be cast into an endless lake of fire and brimstone? I can smell the death on you. You won't be long now. You could have had heaven, but you chose hell. Naturally. Where else can you be cast into an endless lake of fire and brimstone? All right, so there is the Harbinger of Hell. Mixed feelings on it because of my beliefs and whatnot, you know, just the bad omen sort of a thing. But looking at it purely from an animatronic perspective, I like the voice track just because it's so overwhelming, as well as the stance is interesting. A lot of animatronics are very rigid looking. He's got a pose to him, which is something we don't see as often nowadays. He's more dynamic in a sense. And again, the red clothing really makes him pop. It's just eye candy to me personally. Because I know I've said it before, I can't stand black clothing for a majority of things because it's just so hard to make light work with it. It just gets pushed back into the darkness. But maybe that's what it's meant to do, be ominous and unknowing, the dark. But I like the red clothing. I like the totally different approach on this one, just being upfront and out there and dominant. The red is very bright. You can see it has some accents as well. It has like orange spray paint, I think maybe that's what it is, and some black as well. But the orange makes it pop even more, makes him look like he's on fire, along with the yellow in the dry brushing of the yellow is cool as well. And then his jaw is like really loud. I don't know if I'm really going to do anything about it, but it'd be nice to try and silence it just a little bit because that's really annoying. But there are my thoughts on the Harbinger of Hell. Let me know what you guys think of this thing in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next one.